Hello, BookTube. I'm Peg, the book prize addict, and I've got some new prizes that have just come up that I'm so excited about. First of all, happy Mother's Day to you in the U.S. that are mothers. I think England celebrates it a different day. If I'm wrong, actually, I'm not a mother to anybody, but I always celebrate it with a few new books, and I'll be talking about those actually. But I want to talk a little bit about my reading these days. For a while during the lockdown, shutdown, I really just couldn't read at all. And then I got to reading and I found I want to read, guess what? Crime novels, murder mysteries, any kind of suspense. That's kind of the only thing that I can really get into these days. So heck, I'm going to just go with it. I always have kind of liked that genre. And I've seen several articles lately where the crime realm of publishing is doing better than any of the other fiction. And it could be arguable, but the article I read recently, I think it might be in the prize I'm going to talk about today, notes the fact that in some cases, mystery has reached almost the literary fiction level in characters, and they always have great plots and atmosphere. Atmosphere is big in mysteries that I love. So anyway, I just thought, well, I'm just going to read mysteries, and coming out in June is my very favorite prize for crime novels. It's called the Dagger Awards. It's given in London. It's the Mystery Writers Association over there. It's a big one. And I love it because it has all kind of different sections. It has international mysteries for translated mysteries, which I really love. I love to read mysteries from other countries. It has historical mysteries. And of course, it has the debut. And I just love it. And I'm going to be looking forward to it. It's supposed to be announced in early June, and I was like, what am I going to do till then? I really want to read some new mysteries, different mysteries. And I realized that my second favorite mystery prize, the Longlist, was announced Friday, and oh boy, am I excited. 18 books to read. It's called the Theakston's Old Peculier Crime Novel of the Year. And it's you people in England probably know, I think Old Peculier is a kind of liquor anyway, so it's got a lot of money behind it. And it's given out each year at the Harrogate Festival in July, I think, what used to be. But of course, the festival has been canceled this year, which means they're going to do a lot virtually online, which is great for me because I didn't get to go to the festival anyway. And this way I can see a lot of the author interviews, the prizes, the general fol-de-rol of the prize. And another thing I like about this prize is it has lots of the mysteries, I think, are written in English, but there's many like Scottish mysteries, Irish mysteries, different parts of England mysteries. And I just really like that, a way to get to know that country, which I love their literature anyway. So I decided I would follow the Theakstons. I'm just going to call it Theakstons. It's just too complicated, that whole word. And I thought I'd make a little, I've linked to it, the whole 18 book long list. That's going to be, the short list is going to be announced, I think, June 10th. And I'm going to give it a real try to read all 18 of the long list because they're always good. I think the board is a bunch of mystery writers, and you don't get many flops in it, I'll say that. So anyway, but just to give you an idea before I start that, I hope to come on and make videos about each bunch I read and nominate my top 6 to make the short list towards the end of May. I'll be using my 25-point scale that I've talked about before. It's a lot easier to use that when you're judging a lot of books against each other. And I'll say more about that when I get started. But I thought I'd give you a little idea of some of the books that were on last year's shortlist for the 2019 Theakston Old Peculier prize. And I'm just going to go quickly through them, but you'll see there's really all kind of different themes and characters. They're not your old just straight out, shoot them up, put them in jail. Okay, anyway, the first one you may be familiar with if you follow the Booker Prize, because Snap by Belinda Bauer was actually on a Booker Prize shortlist, Longlist last year. And it's probably the first mystery novel that's ever been on there. There's quite a bit of comment about it. I can't remember if it made the shortlist or not. Probably not. But it's not your typical mystery. Actually, it's based on a real-life crime where a pregnant woman was murdered walking along M15, and the case was never solved, though in this they did solve it. But so that's very interesting. Another one that was on last year's shortlist was called London Rules by Mick Herron. This is a series. I think this is the fifth one, or maybe fourth one. And he's actually, Mick Herron is I've seen him called the new John le Carré spy novelist, because he works with this group of never-do-well spies that have been put in this special old house. They haven't been fired from the real spy organization, but they work in this old house, and it's got some black humor, and it's really good. You don't really have to read them in order. In fact, most of the prizes that are part of series, the authors, I'm sure, have purposely made them so you don't have to read them in order. You can just read in. And I'll say this was on the short list last year, and he has another one, which I'll be getting to or reading about. He has another one this year on it. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think he's been on just about every crime novel list for the 5 years that he's written these books. Okay, next we have Broken Ground by Val McDermid. And she's probably the most popular English crime writer, and she's won many awards, Lifetime Awards, etc. This one last year had to do with the secret buried in a Highland peat bog, and I read it, and I really liked the atmosphere of a peat bog, which I've never seen, but I can imagine it's a creepy kind of place. And she also is up for her latest novel for the coming year. The list is down below. Okay, so I started her new one last night, and that's really good too. Okay, so let's see. And we have Liam McIlvaney's The Quaker. He is a Scottish author, and this won the Scottish Crime Novel of the Year in 2019. And it also it takes place in Glasgow, and it draws on a real true life crime in 1969 there with a serial killer, and the serial killer was never actually found. He was called Bible John, and I don't know in this they probably solved it, but who knows, we'll see. I haven't read that, so I'd like to. Okay, and we have, let's see, two more that I actually have copies of. We have, drop C. Okay, we have East of Hounslow. You can read the name. I haven't practiced it, but it's very different too. It's a debut novel, and the main character Jay is a dope dealer. And the spy outfit, the M15, gets a hold of him and makes a deal with him. If he'll do a certain thing undercover, they'll make a better deal for him. And so he goes undercover, and evidently he ends up working undercover with the radical Islamist trading group and gets finds in about terrorism and stuff. So again, it's really a different thing than most crime novels you usually see. Okay, and the winner, which I just finished last night, is 13 by Steve Kavanaugh. Now, I had kind of put this off because I thought it kind of looked kind of dopey with this childish numbers, and I still don't know why they did that. It's not childish at all. 13 does have a meaning, but anyway, as it says, the serial killer isn't on trial. He's on the jury. Again, that seems a little, fake. But it is amazing what this author does with this legal mystery, actually, and I like legal mysteries anyway. I was up quite late last night finishing it. I didn't want to come on here and talk about last year's prize unless I'd read the winner, and it really kept me going. This is what I want out of crime novels. I want to just be able to read and read and read and not get tired of reading them. And boy, it really held my interest last night. And the final scene is the best action scene I've ever read in a movie, in a book. You could kind of picture it as a movie, but I kind of like action scenes in books better because they don't happen quite so fast and you can picture it. Okay, so that was last year's winner. Okay, I'm going to start this week reading the 18 books on the 2020 long list. And I have to say, I only had one of them called Blood and Sugar, which is a historical mystery. It was on I think it's on the Dagger list last year. Sometimes they're confused on which year they're on, depending on when they were published. But that's the only one I actually have. But I found I think about 16 either on my library's Overdrive system for ebooks or very cheaply on Kindle. I was happily surprised. There's some from Australia, more from Scotland, Ireland, and there's one you'll note that was also on, I think it was the Women's Prize last year. You'll notice when you see it. So take a look at the list. Put the link down below. Let me know if you have read any of those. And I'm going to try to have them read. I'll come back every week and talk about some of them and rate them. And the short list will be announced June 8th. So I have to be done by then. Okay, happy reading, everybody. Bye.